All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless me here talking about real music in real time for a few real people out there, just like you and just like me. Thanks for being here, and thanks to you patrons for keeping this channel going. That's where we're at right now. Thank you, patrons, as well as YouTube members out there that are helping this channel out. Thank you very much. Here's some product for you. I saw this gentleman last weekend, Eric Demmer. The album is called So Fine. This is blues rock, or I don't know what you want to call it, but it's traditional music done by a great band and a great saxophone player. Saw this at the world famous Buckingham Blues Bar. 3 bands, $15. $15. The lady there, you have to give her the $15, and she gives you a wristband, and you go see 6 hours of impeccable music played in one of the most beautiful places on planet Earth. So I had a great time there, and more importantly, Eric just wailed on the saxophone. Very interesting band. So go check this out if this is your kind of thing. Eric Demmer, So Fine. Speaking of So Fine, I'm talking about modernretrofm.com, a radio station you can trust. They play music that other radio stations do not play because they're not controlled by a big corporation. So check out modernretrofm.com. Now, as we get closer to Halloween, I continue to basically talk about scary things, and I was watching the Heart reunion back on the 10th. If you missed that, Ann and Nancy Wilson got together for one song. That was the extent of the reunion for the 50th anniversary of the band Heart this year. They are planning a gig on New Year's Eve, though, now. And I'm thinking it's going to be a complete set where both Ann and Nancy are together. Now, the song they did for their reunion a couple of weeks ago is the song Barracuda. Some would say that might be their signature song. It wasn't pretty, folks. We are in the midst of the decline of classic rock, and there are a lot of people in denial when you listen to something and you know, okay, what's not right about this? Now, again, 20 years, 30 years removed, which would be, I don't know, when did Barracuda come out? Like the late 70s, right? So 20 years would be the late 90s. 30 years would be like 2008 or whatever. I'm not exactly, I'm thinking it's like 1977, right around that time frame when it came out. So you're expecting, yeah, this is going to be good, but it might not be quite as good. So then add another 15 years to that. And we're at a place now where, you know, Ann Wilson is, I think, 73 years old. I'm not 100% sure on the age of each person. I'm pretty sure her sister is 3 or 4 years younger. And, you know, again, Nancy looks great up there. She's playing guitar. She seems pretty enthusiastic. It wasn't a complete disaster, but it had the makings of a real mediocre attempt at the band's signature song, because Ann Wilson has lost a lot of her upper register, which is unfortunate because she kept it for a very long time. Maybe she didn't want to strain her voice. She was trying to throw some curveballs, some off-speed stuff, like I was talking to my buddy Tommy DiCarlo yesterday. It wasn't pretty. It just was not pretty. It was great to see them. All of the comments, by the way, on this appearance centered around the fact that it was just great to see them on stage together. They did harmonize well during the song, which is a plus, but this is a song that requires a lot. This is kind of like if Journey couldn't do Don't Stop Believin' anymore, or if Robert Plant couldn't sing Stairway to Heaven anymore. which we found that to be true the other day, right? It's Robert Plant. Haven't seen him in a while. He's singing Stairway to Heaven. Cool. It was cool for about, I don't know, 4 minutes or so. And then it got a little bit uncool. It's almost like all of the great memories you have, you need to kind of look away so this doesn't trash what's left. Again, we're getting close to Halloween, and I guess this is supposed to be a little scary sometimes, right? But for classic rock fans, it's rough. It's just rough. And you're paying hundreds of dollars. I paid $15 to go see this guy and 2 other amazing bands, all right? And this is where I'm at now. I don't need to hold on to the past anymore. I did for many years. But because everything in the world right now has gone kind of bonkers in the sense that, okay, so they didn't want us listening to classic rock anymore. Starting in the 90s, they're like, yeah, no, we're not going to play that stuff really anymore. Yeah, you can go to your classic rock station, sure, and you're going to hear the same songs over and over again, and nobody's going to be able to add to that canon. Nobody's going to have their songs played alongside those songs because it's classic rock, you know. And then you have this active rock scene, which is really a joke, and you know, like 10 bands control it, and everybody sings like the Cookie Monster, right? We've been over this a few times. So a band like Heart comes along, and you're like, great. It's great to see them. That's wonderful. They can't do what they used to do. By the way, as a footnote, they are planning a show on New Year's Eve. So if you're waiting for the official 50th anniversary tour, you won't get that. You did get Ann Wilson and Nancy Wilson together for one song. And now on New Year's Eve, you're going to get them, I believe, for the entire evening. All right. And some of the show will be performed next year, right? After midnight. So, yeah, I mean, you can go watch the clip. It was a big deal. The classic rock world went bananas. Look, it's Ann and Nancy Wilson. And then I'm listening and I'm like, I'm not looking, I'm looking away. I'm like, no, stop. You know, I remember being in middle school or whatever when all of this great music was coming out initially. And it's like, I just want to keep those memories, you know? I don't want to see these older folks attempting to do things that they just really can't do anymore. It's messing up, it's messing up all the good times I had, because I don't want to think that, you know, mortality is a thing when it comes to rock and roll. And I think with what Grace Slick said, all right, when she said basically people over 50 shouldn't keep doing this. And I think that's a little harsh. I would say 60. I'd say most people are fairly good through their 50s. The 60s gets a little rough. It's got to be super good genetics, caring for your voice, eating right. I don't know if Ann Wilson is eating right these days. You can be the judge of that. And I'm not trying to be cruel. I'm just saying that if you're in your 70s, I think you've got to be your very, very best self in those years to be maybe 60 or 70% of what you were, say, 20 years ago. It's just father time, unfortunately. It's just the aging process. And especially with music that's difficult to sing like this, I would advise, hey, maybe rework the song. Don't go out there and do a full strength barnstorming version. Unless, of course, you're going to make the audience sing, or you're going to do some of these backing vocal AI things that are happening, and maybe you can fool some people. I give Ann Wilson credit. She's really singing the song. There's not much question about that. So for you Heart fans and for you fans of classic rock in general, this isn't good. This isn't good news. This is just more watching the decline. And these guys wasted, let me put this out there. These guys wasted a lot of time. The last 20 years of that. How active have they been as a band? They could have done tours every year, every other year, maybe put out a couple of songs here and there, tried to put out music that was similar Not to the 80s, because, you know, you can tell that this band is not embracing their 80s persona. Fine. There's a ton of material from the 70s, late 70s. Most people will tell you that was really the best for Heart fans, as far as the quality of material and just the sound of the band was the best. So why not give the fans what they want there? But Anne has gone off on her Seattle solo career, and I think Nancy wanted something to do, and she did her own thing too, but I think she did it more reluctantly than Anne. And yes, that thing that happened back in 2016, I think that still is a factor. I don't think it's the main factor, but they did do this tour in 2019, if you recall, and I think it went pretty well. But that might have been the year to say, you know what, guys, I think we're done. But these things, they don't end. They just keep on going. And I think of Kelly Hansen saying, some of these bands, they stick around too long and they sound horrible. And he didn't want to do that. Good for him. And he's not even the original singer of Foreigner, right? And he's saying, look, is he kind of taking a jab maybe at his, the guy who he replaced, Lou Gramm? Maybe. He's just probably just saying, look, you guys need to quit while you're ahead. Don't keep going. So this might be another instance of that. You can judge for yourself. Go watch the video. It's up on YouTube. Basically, it's going to be under the title, Nancy Wilson joins Ann Wilson for Barracuda. And it was great to see them together again. Absolutely. But there's more to music than the visual, right? It's great to see them, but to hear them is another issue altogether. So one more time for my buddy Eric Demmer, nice man, spoke to him. Obviously bought a CD because it was something I wanted to have to showcase for the audience. I told him, I said, I'd like to show the audience the actual CD, and he thought that was kind of cool. So yeah, I'm kind of alone doing this, folks, in some ways. All right. So if you enjoy the channel, please subscribe to the channel. Also consider doing a Patreon for like $1 a month. Okay. Maybe $2, whatever you can afford. Like the classic, maybe this is why the channel is in decline, because classic rock is in decline. Maybe I need to start doing those videos where cats are falling off of tables or something. I may just put one out there just to see how well it does. If I get 1 million views, and I can just talk about music every so often, and post the cat videos. Well, Real Music Observer, observing cats in real time. You never know. There's a band I like called Cats in Space. It just, everything just ties together. It's just a wonderful life, folks. Anyway, thanks to the patrons who are already here, and you guys have continued to just keep this thing going, because it's all you right now. It's very little income like it used to be. So just thanks again. God bless everybody. You know what? Pray for peace in the Middle East. That's the way I see it now. Just pray for peace. I'm tired of struggling with who did what to who and why, and it's just sad that we can't have peace in our time, but here we are. So let's just pray for peace. See you soon.